Live, and we back with another one, man. And everybody who does watch my videos know Kobe Bryant is my favorite player of all time. And we just had a Larry Bird video reaction that went big, and everybody was telling me do more Larry Bird stuff. And so this was a combination of the two. It's Larry Bird was trying to tell everybody how great Kobe was before, and nobody was listening to him at the beginning. And Larry Bird ended up being right. And I think the legends see stuff in the younger players that normal everyday people don't see. And that's we're gonna get right off into this and see what Larry Bird was talking about before Mamba was the Black Mamba, before Kobe Bryant was Kobe Bean Bryant, the 5-time NBA championship. What did Larry Bird see in him that nobody else really did? We're gonna get right off into this, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let's do it.
What if I told you that the most feared basketball player of his entire generation was flagged as a problem before he ever played a single second of NBA basketball?
Because a lot of the kids that I was playing against were inner city kids. Yeah. And so you're looking at me as if, okay, this kid's soft.
He was a sicko when it came to that kind of shit, like trying to find any kind of advantage or angle he could possibly get.
And the man who flagged—
That's why I say Michael Jordan and Kobe are like the only two people that we've ever really seen that I know of that were really like psychopaths out there. Like it really came down to like any way they could get a step up over you in advantage in the game or anything like that. Like they would do it, and they would do it, and even if it's in a dirty way, like they would do it.
him wasn't some scout, some coach, or some talking head. It was Larry Bird, one of the coldest, most ruthless competitors the sport has ever produced. A man who spent his career telling opponents exactly what he was about to do to them, and then doing it anyway.
And I would tell him, I said, when I face him, we're going to go at it. You're not intimidating me. Yeah. I'm not going.
See, this is why I always say I think Michael Jordan respected Kobe so much, because he's talking about Michael right here. How everybody would be scared to go at Michael, and Kobe, no matter, even if he got humiliated, he was right there again, ready to go.
Anywhere.
Bird looked at an 18-year-old kid straight out of high school and said this: "He's the best I've seen in a long time. I would never compare him to Michael, but if anyone is close, it'll be him." That was the warning, and almost nobody listened.
And he wanted to be the next Michael Jordan, if not better, and he wanted that one-on-one challenge.
But how did a teenager who had never played a college game turn into the monster Larry Bird tried to tell the league about?
So at 13 years old, I had a kill list. I got to hunt them down.
And why did Kobe Bryant deliberately make his own life harder than it ever needed to be, chasing a standard that was slowly eating him alive? Well, to find out.
That's facts. Kobe did. He literally ran his body until his body couldn't take it no more, and his body fell apart because his work ethic was insane. Like he wasn't near as naturally gifted as Michael Jordan was.
We have to go all the way back to a driveway in Italy. Long before Kobe was the Black Mamba, he was a quiet American kid, living in a country where he barely knew the language. His father, Joe Jellybean Bryant, was a former NBA player who had taken his talents overseas to keep his career alive.
I grew up in Italy, okay? So, like, I didn't even know Oscars was a thing. I had no idea.
So while other future stars were growing up on the blacktops of American cities, Kobe was growing up in towns like Reggio Emilia, watching grainy VHS tapes his grandfather—
Yeah, his grandma and grandpa used to send him all the NBA games, and he would watch them over and over and over again on VHS tapes in Italy.
Father mailed to him from the States.
That's crazy.
He didn't just watch them, he broke them down frame by frame. He learned Michael Jordan's footwork not by copying it in real time, but by rewinding it over and over until he understood why it worked. While the other kids were playing, Kobe was dissecting, and living overseas gave him something most future stars never had: distance. He wasn't surrounded by the American basketball culture that quietly tells you what's normal.
Yeah, and puts hella pressure on you, because like if you're a top prospect coming, you know what I mean, it puts so much pressure on you.
What's possible, and what a kid your age is supposed to be able to do. He built his game in isolation, on quiet European courts against grown men in his father's professional world, with nobody there to tell him to slow down.
Every time I saw my father step on the court, I got happy. I got chilled because everybody's going crazy cheering for him. And that's how I felt about my father. And I think that I was maybe a little too young to realize how everybody looked up to my father then. But as I look back now, it's like a great. My parents basically told me, "You're going to an Italian."
And now, can you imagine what? And Kobe was on a whole nother level compared to his father. Can you imagine what it was like being Kobe's kids, watching him play? Like, it would have been insane. Like that's the one thing I wish I would have got to see in my life for real, is just watch Kobe Bryant play one game of basketball in real life. I've watched hundreds of his games on live TV and shit, but I'm saying in real life, in person, like I would have loved to watch him play basketball, man.
In school, they want you to learn a new language.
Italian boy, I didn't understand the fashion. It was like somebody took me and dropped me in a bucket in a tub of ice cold water because it shocked the shit out of me.
By the time his family finally moved back to the United States, Kobe was almost a stranger in his own country. He spoke Italian better than he understood American slang.
My beeper is beeping, so let me quick pause as I grab the microphone. It's for all of y'all.
He did kind of, like, if you listen to his younger stuff, like as he got older, his accent kind of left. But when he was younger, he did definitely kind of have an accent, Italian accent.
He didn't share the same friends, the same references, or the same easy cool that came naturally to the other kids. Some people looked at the quiet foreign kid and assumed he'd be soft. That assumption did not survive.
Nah, he was the toughest, one of the toughest we've ever seen on the fucking court, ever. He's one of the toughest to ever lace up his freaking shoes.
Very long.
Because a lot of the kids that I was playing against were inner city kids. Yeah. And so you're looking at me as if, okay, this kid's soft.
When his family enrolled him at Lower Merion High School just outside Philadelphia, something became immediately clear.
He wasn't soft.
This kid wasn't just talented. He was wired unlike anyone in the building. Kobe treated a high school gym like a laboratory. He was the first one in and the last one out, asking coaches questions that grown men couldn't answer.
I just go back to the gym, and they'd see me leave. That was my way of showing them, yeah, I may be from the suburbs, but you're not going to outwork me.
While his classmates worried about the weekend, he was studying NBA film and testing himself against players twice his age at local Pro-Am games, holding his own against people already in or near the league. He had no interest in being...
And he, like, especially in high school, like, in high school, if you're 6'5", you're tall as fuck. 6'4", you're tall as fuck, because it's not like in the league where everybody is, like, the center, you know what I mean? Like, it's rare to run into giant players all the time in high school. So, like, if you're a 6'5" guard in high school, you're tall as fuck compared to a 6'5" guard in the NBA.
Best kid in his school. He had already decided in his own head that he was going to be the best player alive.
I wanted to be one of the best basketball players to ever play, and anything else that was outside of that lane, I didn't have time for.
By his senior year, he had turned a program that hadn't sniffed a state title in decades into a genuine powerhouse.
That freaking dunk is insane.
Outside of that
This is a high school kid doing this.
I didn't have time for.
By his senior year,
through the legs,
he had turned a program that hadn't sniffed a state title in decades into a genuine powerhouse.
He said
Kobe would drag Lower Merion all the way to the Pennsylvania State Championship game, a stage the school had waited generations to reach. On the biggest night of his young life, he delivered, leading his team to the title and finishing his high school career as the greatest player his region had ever produced. But this was only the beginning of the doubt. Kobe was about to make a decision that had half the basketball world convinced he'd lost his mind.
He went from high school straight to the NBA instead of going to college.
He wasn't going to college, at a time when almost nobody jumped straight from high school.
Which I think is a dumb rule. They need to be, I think people, if you're good enough to go straight from high school to college, you should be allowed to. They changed it to where you can't do that now. I think that's a dumbass rule.
To the NBA.
Two of the greatest players we've ever seen came straight from high school into the NBA in form of LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. So why all of a sudden now we can't let 18 and 19-year-olds come into the NBA?
An 18-year-old from the suburbs of Philadelphia stood up in his high school gym, slid on a pair of sunglasses, and announced he was taking his talents directly to the pros.
I have decided to skip college and take my talent to the NBA. What people don't know about that is I had a bet with my classmates on whether or not I would do that or not.
The reaction was brutal. Analysts called it arrogant. Some called it foolish.
Did you ever have any concerns about jumping?
Yeah, and it paid out. Because what would 4 years of or 2 years even of college have got Kobe? He would have never used his degree. It would have just been a waste of time because he wouldn't have had them same 2 years. 2 years of experience in the NBA is better than 2 years of experience in college. So really, it would have just been a waste of time for him.
Straight to high school, from high school right into the pros.
No.
No?
No.
The idea that a teenager who had spent his whole life outworking children could suddenly hang with grown men in the toughest league on the planet seemed absurd. But could
They thought it was absurd.
a high schooler with no college resume really survive the NBA? Or was he a spoiled kid about to embarrass himself in front of the entire country?
With the 13th pick in the 1996 NBA draft,
Kobe,
the Charlotte Hornets select
Kobe
Bryant
Bryant.
from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
Well, one man knew the answer before anyone else did. Jerry West, the legendary executive of the Los Angeles
Facts.
Lakers, brought
And if you don't know who Jerry West is, I might have to do some highlight reels of Jerry West, man. He was a Laker legend for real.
Kobe in for a pre-draft workout. And what he saw terrified him in the best way possible.
Watching him go to a summer league game, okay? The place was jam-packed, and my son relayed a story to me just today about, and I obviously was there, I think he scored 29 points as a 17-year-old kid. And after the game, he remarked to my son, boy, that was really easy.
West had spent a lifetime evaluating the greatest players in history.
Boy, that was really easy. A 17-year-old kid just dropped 29 on a bunch of NBA players and goes, boy, that was easy.
And here was an 18-year-old carving up seasoned professionals with a competitive fire he later said he had rarely seen from anyone. This wasn't a kid hoping to be drafted. This was a kid treating a workout like a personal insult that needed answering.
Every day
He treated every day like that, like an insult. Like somebody, he just woke up like somebody fucking punched him in his balls every day and was just mad and went and worked out, dude. Like he woke up every day with this like fighting spirit in his head, in his chest, you know what I mean? To where like it was no matter what he was gonna do, he was gonna be the best player that his body would possibly allow him to be.
Practice for me was really trying to annihilate everybody that I was playing against. Because I wanted to prove you don't need to babysit me.
West walked out of that gym convinced it was the best pre-draft session he had ever witnessed, and he became fixated on landing him. The problem was the Lakers didn't have a high enough pick to just take him, so West got creative. On draft night, the Charlotte Hornets used the 13th overall pick to select.
And it was probably one of the smartest moves Jerry West could have ever done, realistically. Like, let's be honest. He made a smart move trying to get Kobe, a 17, 18-year-old Kobe Bryant, because he brought the Lakers 5 championships.
Select Kobe. Then, exactly as planned, shipped him to Los Angeles for veteran center Vlade Divac. The kid was a Laker, but the doubters weren't done.
No, they weren't.
Now Kobe had to prove that Jerry West's gamble wasn't a mistake. And his rookie...
He had doubters all the way up until 2010. That's when the doubters finally stopped being so much. Until he won his 4th and 5th rings, he always had doubters.
Season handed the skeptics plenty of ammunition.
The very first practice, we were going through a walkthrough, and he was going 100 miles an hour. I'm like, dude, calm down, it's a walkthrough.
Buried behind veterans, he barely played early on.
Yeah.
And when the moment finally came for him to shine, it went about as wrong as it possibly could.
Bryant making his first appearance in Madison Square Garden. 18 years of age, and he'll go to the free throw line. There is his first point.
Del Harris, also the coach back then, didn't believe in playing rookies like that. He didn't just put Kobe Bryant out into the lineup like they did with Cooper Flagg or like they did with LeBron to try to really get his feet under him and try to teach him, you know what I mean? They made him come off the bench. He was averaging like freaking like 10 minutes a game or something like that his rookie year.
The NBA.
It was the 1997 playoffs. The Lakers were battling the Utah Jazz, and with the game and the series on the line, the ball found its way into the hands of the youngest player on the floor. Kobe rose up for a game-tying shot. Airball. He got another look in overtime.
Airball.
A teenager on the sport's biggest stage.
Not scared, though. He fucked up. He failed. He lost the game, but he wasn't scared.
Missing everything. in front of a nation that had already decided he wasn't ready.
I shot 5 air balls on national TV in front of millions of people that cost us the series, and I'm 18.
Most 18-year-olds would have been shattered. Kobe had a different response entirely. Instead of hiding, he flew straight to a gym and shot through the night, refusing to let those air balls define him.
Get over yourself. You feel embarrassed. You're not that important. Like, get over yourself. Yep.
He didn't see failure.
Exactly.
He saw
Shaq walked up to him while he was walking off the floor and said, they might be laughing right now, but one day they'll fear you. And that's true. And he ended up being the most clutch game-winning ball player that we've ever seen. Like, he has the most clutch or game-tying shots of all time. Like, he wasn't scared for the moment. Even though at 18 he fucked up, Shaq could see, like, oh, he's going to be dangerous at the end of games. Like, he's not scared of the moment. And look, he became one of the most clutch players we've ever seen pick up the ball. So,
do list. Where other players would have carried that humiliation like a wound, Kobe carried it like a weapon.
Fact.
He'd taken those shots because he trusted himself when nobody else did, and he wasn't about to apologize for it.
No, he wasn't.
That single night tells you almost everything about who he was going to become. The worst moment of his young career didn't break him. It sharpened him. And this is where Larry Bird's warning starts to make sense. What Bird had spotted in Kobe wasn't just talent. It was the same sickness he carried himself.
And the same sickness that Michael Jordan carried and Magic Johnson and a few others.
That almost inhuman refusal to be anything less than the best in the building. Around this time, Kobe's
Man, he had, like, Kobe's crossover was insane. Like, he had that AI type crossover.
To be anything less than the best in the building.
If you put an Allen Iverson uniform on him right here, you would think this was Allen Iverson.
Around this time, Kobe's habit started turning into legend. While the rest of the league treated basketball as a job, he treated it as a religion.
Facts.
He took me out to eat, and I said...
He didn't just play basketball for the money. He played because he wanted to win at all costs. He didn't give a fuck.
What you getting ready to do? I'm going to the club. And he said, I'm going to the gym. And that was him.
Teammates would show up for early morning workouts feeling dedicated, only to find Kobe already there,
drenched in
sweat, having started hours before sunrise. Stories spread of him in the gym before dawn, running the same footwork drills endlessly, draining hundreds of shots before most people had finished their coffee.
We on the track before the sun comes up.
No Instagram, it said. Of course he didn't have Instagram. There wasn't none of that shit around for him to even be distracted by back then.
And then we lift weights so hard that, all right, let's go shoot. And I'm like, motherfucker, I can't lift my arms. You want me to go shoot a basketball right now? Like, his grind was sickening.
Nobody was watching. That was the point. He did it because somewhere out there, someone else might be putting in the work, and that thought was unbearable to him.
Facts.
If you're obsessively training 2-3 hours every single day over a year, over 2 years,
you're accelerating.
You make quantum leaps, man.
That drive is exactly what Larry Bird recognized. It was the same fuel that had powered Bird himself. The quiet...
That little voice inside saying, if I'm not the best player on the court, somebody else is the best player on the court. And you not want, like, if you really want to be one of the greats, you never want to be the second best player on the court. There's some basketball players who are okay with that. But the people that want to be legends, like, they want to really be one of the greatest of all time, like, that's, like, they have this little freaking voice in their head, like, telling them, like, that person, nah, they're not better than you. They're not better than you. You got to outwork them. You got to, like, constantly, 24/7.
Terror that someone somewhere wanted it more. By his second season, the entire league started to feel it. Kobe became the youngest all-star starter in NBA history, a teenager sharing the floor with legends. And he didn't act like he was lucky to be there. At one point during that all-star game, he famously waved off Hall of Famer Karl Malone, telling one of the most dominant players alive to clear out so he could go one-on-one.
He asked for a pick and roll, and Kobe waved him off. Kobe was like, no, I got this all by myself. And he waved Karl out.
The kid had no fear.
Nah, he didn't. And that's why no matter who he was going, that's why even as a rookie in 1996, 1997, He was not scared to match up with Michael Jordan and shit because he had no fear in his heart.
He won a slam dunk contest. His jersey climbed the sales charts, and his game began to look eerily familiar to anyone who had studied Michael Jordan. But the most dangerous part of Kobe wasn't the highlights. It was what happened when the clock wound down and the game hung in the balance. He craved that moment. In the final seconds...
That's what Shaq saw in him when he airballed 5 shots. He realized, oh shit, even though he airballed all these shots, he was not scared and he craved that moment. And that's why Shaq walked up to him and said, like, they might be laughing now, but one day they will fear you.
When most players quietly hoped the ball would find someone else's hands, Kobe demanded it be in his.
I've seen guys shy away from those moments, and he's a guy that never done that.
Larry Bird had lived by the same code, famously wanting the last shot in his hands and nobody else's in the entire world. Kobe was the same animal, born a generation later. Over the years, opposing coaches and defenders would come to dread the sight of him rising up with the game on the line, because more often than not...
Facts. Straight, like he said, was just feared at the end of the game, time running down. You want the ball in anybody's hands but Kobe. And you better not jump for his pump fake. You jump at the end of the game for his pump fake, it's over with. He's putting it down.
He buried them. By the way, if you're enjoying uncovering how this kid became a legend, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because the next chapter is where everything Bird saw coming becomes real. Anyway, as Kobe's role grew, so did his partnership with a 7-foot, 300-pound wrecking ball named Shaquille O'Neal.
On 300-pound wrecking ball is crazy.
On paper, it was the most dominant duo in basketball.
We are the most enigmatic, controversial, most dominant 1-2 punch, little to big, ever created, and we will never be duplicated.
Facts. Best little man, big man duo I've ever seen play the game. We've seen a lot of great teams, but a duo, little man, big man duo, best duo we've ever seen play the game of basketball, hands down, period.
A young, relentless perimeter assassin next to the most physically unstoppable big man on earth. The Lakers had everything they needed. But could two of the fiercest competitors in the sport really coexist long enough to win?
The day me and Shaq got in a fist fight, Rick Fox, my teammates, they all thought I was absolutely crazy.
When Phil Jackson, the coach who had guided Jordan's Bulls to 6 championships, arrived in Los Angeles, the answer became yes.
Phil introduced meditation to us when he came to our team in 99, 2000. It was something that I instantly gravitated to because I could see the effects.
Jackson built his offense around Shaq's dominance and Kobe's brilliance. And in the 2000 season, the Lakers...
See, the 2000 season is the only season out of all the seasons that you could maybe say Shaq was the little bit better player. But realistically, only in the finals. Other than that, it was like a lot of people try to say Shaq carried Kobe, which is the farthest from the truth. If you really look at the numbers and watch the games and watch, like, there was a lot of times when Shaq was fouled out, Kobe was carrying the teams. Young Kobe scoring 30 throughout the whole playoffs, but just because he only scored 24 in the finals instead of 30, they get, you know what I mean? So, like, people try to say, like, Shaq carried Kobe, and that's just not the case, not even a little bit.
Steamrolled the league. But their path to the finals nearly ended in disaster. In the Western Conference Finals, the Portland Trail Blazers pushed them to a deciding Game 7. And for most of that night, the Lakers looked finished, trailing by 15 in the fourth quarter on their home floor on the brink of a historic collapse. Then Kobe took over. Down the stretch, the young guard steadied a panicking team, attacking, creating, refusing to let the moment swallow them. In the final minutes, he lofted a lob that Shaquille O'Neal caught and hammered home. A play that instantly became one of the...
It's so iconic. Like, every time you see it, every time I see it at least, it gives me chills. That little floater alley-oop right to Shaquille O'Neal at the back or at the basket, man, it gives me chills just to watch it.
Defining images of the era.
Boom.
The Blazers crumbled.
Shaq running down court, happy as hell, looking like a big happy teddy bear. Like, what the hell? Like, how does he go from looking like one of the meanest people on the court to looking like this?
The defining images of the era. The Blazers crumbled.
He went from looking mean to looking like a
The Lakers survived.
Now his assist to Shaquille O'Neal makes it a 6-point difference.
with 41 3/10 seconds left.
And in that comeback, you could see the partnership at its absolute best. The kid and the giant, briefly perfectly in sync.
Facts.
Which brought them to the moment this entire story has been building toward. The 2000 NBA Finals. Standing between the Lakers and a championship were the Indiana Pacers, coached by Larry Bird, the very same man who years earlier had looked at a high schooler and quietly told everyone this kid was the closest thing to Jordan he had ever seen.
Oh, fuck. I didn't realize I guess I did know that. Larry Bird was coaching the Pacers, didn't it? I did know that. It's just been a long time since I heard that. I forgot about that. That's crazy.
Now Bird had to stop him. And for a while, it looked like he might.
And what's crazy is this isn't the first. Bird as a player had to try to stop Michael. And now as a coach, he's having to try to stop Kobe, the person that he says is the closest to Michael. So twice in his life, as a player and as a coach, he's had to try to figure out schemes to stop the greatest player in the league.
Early in the series, Kobe sprained his ankle badly enough to miss an entire game. Most people assumed that whenever he returned, he'd be limited, cautious, a shell of himself. They were wrong.
They're lucky he missed a game. Kobe doesn't, if Kobe's got to be really hurt to miss a game. That motherfucker had hurt himself a lot and just kept playing.
In Game 4, on an ankle that had no business carrying him, Kobe scored 28 points, took over in overtime, and dragged the Lakers to a crucial win.
Hell yeah.
Even after Shaquille O'Neal fouled out and left him alone to finish the job. Bird's Pacers had no answer. The teenager Larry Bird...
Look, what'd they just say? In the 2000s finals. So the one year that you can maybe say Shaquille O'Neal was the best player on the team, and Shaquille O'Neal fouled out, and who was it? A young 20-year-old, 21-year-old Kobe Bryant carrying them, helping them on a fucked up ankle, help carry them to a fucking championship. But yet Shaq carried Kobe.
Had warned the league about was all grown up. And now he was burying the very man who saw it coming.
21 years, you said you've always dreamed of winning a championship. Is it what you dreamed of?
Oh, it's everything and more. I mean, you have the Laker colors falling from the ceiling, the fans going crazy.
This is it, fellas. We work all year long for it, man. Shaq the man, most dominant player in the world.
Shaq sitting next to Kobe is so crazy because, Shaq is so big. Have you ever seen the pictures of him sitting on the bench next to the court? He takes up 2 chairs. It's insane how big he is.
Championship, it's ours.
The Lakers won the title. That finals wasn't just a championship.
Insane.
It was a confirmation. Everything Bird predicted in that quiet high school gym had come true. Right in front of him, on the biggest stage in the sport. But could Los Angeles keep it going? They didn't just keep it going, they dominated.
Facts.
The Lakers rolled
for 3 more years. I mean, they lost in 2004 finally, but they dominated for 4 years straight.
To a second straight championship, then a third, completing one of the last 3 peats in NBA history, all before Kobe had even reached his mid-20s. On the surface, he was living every basketball dream imaginable. Underneath, something was cracking. 2 alphas as fierce as Kobe and Shaq were never truly built to share a throne.
It wasn't just that. It was the fact that Kobe didn't like how lazy Shaq was. Kobe wanted Shaq to have the same intensity and the same work ethic and everything that he had, and Shaq wasn't doing that. And that's why they started butting heads so much.
Kobe wanted to be pushed harder, to practice longer, to grind deeper. Shaq operated differently, leaning on his once-in-a-generation size and trusting he could flip a switch whenever it mattered. To Kobe, that switch was an insult. He couldn't understand how anyone blessed with that much talent could ever coast.
That's what Kobe said. Shaq would have been the greatest player of all time if he had his work ethic.
For a single practice.
Who would Shaq be if he had your work ethic?
Oh,
he'd be the greatest of all time.
Look, I guess I spoke too soon because the video said it.
Deal with people that don't commit at that level.
To Shaq, Kobe was a stubborn young perfectionist trying to do too much on his own. Over time, those small differences hardened into resentment. It stopped being private. Their frustration started leaking into interviews, into the locker room, into the newspapers.
Fights, multiple fights, freaking all types of shit was going on back then on the Lakers.
Till the whole basketball world knew the two Laker stars could barely stand to share the same building.
The media would take it and run with it and all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, well, bruh, if you were in shape, by the time I run down on a fast break, you're still coming down the first time, bruh. What the hell do you want me to do?
The most dominant duo in the sport.
I understand exactly what Kobe's saying. Like, that would be frustrating for me too, especially if I had Kobe's work ethic and I'm trying to win championships and Shaq is acting like that.
It was tearing itself apart from the inside and no amount of winning could fix it. And this was only the start of Kobe's problems. In 2004, with the dynasty already fracturing, the Lakers reached the finals again, this time as heavy favorites over the Detroit Pistons. Everyone expected a coronation. Instead, Detroit dismantled them. A hungry, unselfish, defensive-minded team exposed a Lakers squad that no longer trusted one another.
Facts.
And Los Angeles was humiliated in 5 games. The dynasty was over, and the front office made its choice. They kept Kobe.
You have to. Kobe is the one that was fueling that team. He's the one with the work ethic. He's the one pushing that team. Do you keep the one that is crazy and might cause drama, but also pushes the team and works 1,000 times harder and wants to win at all costs? Or do you keep the overweight center that is lazy? You go with Kobe every time.
Shaquille O'Neal, one of the most dominant champions the sport had ever seen, was shipped out, which left Kobe with exactly what he thought he always wanted: his own team. But be careful what you wish for. The seasons that followed were some of the loneliest of his career. Without Shaq, the Lakers stopped being contenders. They were mediocre. Kobe was still spectacular, still terrifying, still putting up numbers that made no sense. But the wins,
scoring 62 in 3 quarters, scoring 81 in a game, dropping 40 like 10 games in a row. Like he was putting up his craziest because he had no team around him at this point. He had to put up these crazy numbers just for this team to compete.
Weren't there, and the criticism poured in.
More 40-point games than LeBron and KD, and more 60-point games than LeBron James and Michael Jordan combined.
People said he couldn't win without a dominant big man. They said he was a ball hog. They said his ego had cost the Lakers.
This is when the ball hog narrative started coming in, because he had to be, because his team was so shitty around him.
There's a dynasty. For the first time in his career, the narrative had turned against him completely. The player who was supposed to be the next Jordan was now being framed as a selfish star who chased off a legend and got nothing but empty stats in return. And Kobe answered the only way he knew how.
By winning.
By scoring in a way that dared anyone to keep doubting him. On one January night in 2006 against the Toronto Raptors, he put on a performance basketball may never see again. He scored 81 points in
his 81 is so much more impressive than Bam Adebayo's 83 too.
Single game, the second highest scoring night in league history.
In 2006 against the Toronto Raptors, you scored 81 points.
You know why I had to score 81? Tough days, man.
It was breathtaking.
Like you just said, he had to score 81. They needed all of those points. It wasn't a blowout like where Lakers were up by 40 points and they were just letting Kobe stack points. Like, they needed every point to win that game.
It was also a warning sign. A brilliant scorer carrying dead weight, forced to do everything himself because there was nobody else who could.
Facts.
Kobe was drowning in his own greatness. By 2007, he'd had enough. Frustrated with the direction of the franchise, he demanded a way out. The face of the Lakers wanted to leave the Lakers. But where would he go?
Nah, he didn't want to leave the Lakers. He was just trying to force the Lakers to actually bring in some decent help.
Thankfully for Los Angeles, the trade never happened. Instead, the front office made a move that changed everything. They acquired a skilled, versatile big man named Pau Gasol. For the first time since Shaq left, Kobe had a genuine second star. Someone who could operate in the post, pass like a guard, and fit seamlessly beside a demanding superstar.
Exactly.
And here's what made it work, where the Shaq pairing eventually...
Derek Fisher was a big part of that. Lamar Odom. Bringing Ron Artest in for the second in 2010 for that championship and shit was a huge thing because Ron Artest was a huge defensive player. So, like, there was a lot of parts that went into this.
actually didn't. Gasol was skilled enough to command respect, but secure enough to let Kobe lead. He didn't fight for the throne.
Oh, yeah, because before Paul Gasol came to the Lakers, he was never even an all-star. He was a good player, and he did what Kobe needed him to do. But let's be honest, without Paul Gasol being on that Lakers team, he was never an all-star. Kobe helped him. Paul Gasol became an all-star because of who he was playing next to.
Built next to it.
He toughened Paul Gasol up. He made him a Hall of Famer.
Kobe put some of his dog in Pau.
Facts.
For years, people had blamed Kobe's personality for the collapse of the last dynasty. Given the right piece, he was about to prove that his single-mindedness wasn't a flaw. It was the reason. The Lakers were reborn. In 2008, Kobe carried them all the way back to the NBA Finals.
Man, as a kid, watching them lose to the Boston in 2008 was like heartbreaking because like I was 8 years old, you know what I mean? This is like when I first started watching Kobe. Like I started watching him in like 2007 and shit, stuff like that. And then he goes to the finals in 2008 and loses.
Collecting the league's most valuable player award along the way, silencing everyone who said he couldn't lead a team on his own. But there was one problem. Waiting for him in the finals were the Boston Celtics, the franchise of Larry Bird. The ghost that had hovered over Kobe's entire career now wore green and white, and Boston was loaded.
Yeah, they had the big three on Boston was tough, and they were seasoned already. Kobe only had like a whole year to put his team together with Paul Gasol and everybody. Like they weren't mentally tough enough, but they were in 2010 when they met up with them again.
And they wrecked the Lakers. In one of the most painful defeats of Kobe's life, the Celtics didn't just beat Los Angeles, they embarrassed them, closing the series with a blowout so lopsided it felt like a statement. Kobe sat in that locker room a broken man. But if this story has proven anything, it's what he did with pain. He weaponized it.
Yeah, anytime Kobe lost or got humiliated or anything like that, bro, he came back 10 times harder.
He spent that entire offseason with a single image burned into his mind. The green and white confetti falling on Boston's floor. And he made sure his teammates felt it too.
He opens up the paper and there's like this article about it. And there's a picture of Paul Pierce. So he cuts it out and he folds it up, he puts it in his pocket. And like we're all looking at him, you know, like what's going on? He's like, motivation.
The next year,
fucking psycho, dude. A fucking straight lunatic.
And like we're all looking at him, you know, like what's going on? He's like, motivation.
The next year, in 2009, the Lakers returned to the finals, and this time Kobe finished the job, winning the championship and, for the first time, Finals MVP. His first title,
which was bullshit. He was robbed of so many Finals MVPs and MVPs.
As the undisputed leader of his team. No Shaq, no Shadow, just Kobe.
Facts.
He had proven he could be the man, but he wasn't satisfied. There was still unfinished business. There was still Boston.
Yeah, he was, just because he got that championship, now he's tied with Shaq. He's got 4, Shaq's got 4. That don't mean nothing. Kobe wasn't trying to compete with Shaq. You got to remember that. Kobe was competing with trying to be the greatest player that his body would physically let him be. Yeah, he wanted to win more than Shaq, of course, because there was emotions in the team breaking up. But really, Kobe's ambition in winning championships was never just to get one more than Shaq. It was because he was trying to be the greatest player of all time.
In 2010, the basketball gods gave him exactly what he wanted. A rematch against the Celtics in the finals. Revenge on the sport's biggest stage. The series was a war. Brutal, physical, and it came all the way down to a winner-take-all Game 7 on Kobe's home floor.
I watched these games on an old box TV that's like this thick, and it had the antenna hooked up to it where you had to turn the dial in the back to face the antenna the right direction and everything. That's what I watched Kobe Bryant win his championships on.
And on that night, Kobe was awful. His shot wasn't falling. He was pressing, forcing, missing badly, looking nothing like the assassin the world knew.
I can still see myself right now standing in the living room 5 feet from that old square box TV watching them win this finals.
Back-to-back titles. The LA Lakers, the 2010 NBA champions.
I wasn't playing well. I wasn't shooting the ball well at all. And so my teammates
picked you up and they delivered.
Yes.
For most players, that's the end of the story. A bad night in the biggest game of their lives.
Facts.
But Kobe found another way to win. Even with his jumper gone, he attacked the glass, hunted free throws, and willed his team through.
Yeah, how many he did? He had hella rebounds that night too.
Ugliest, most stressful game imaginable, refusing to let Boston beat him twice.
And he was like, man, hey, you know what, Perk? I got 30,000 reasons why you can't stop me today.
Kobe had his 5th ring, his 2nd straight finals MVP, and his revenge against the one franchise that had haunted him since childhood.
Facts.
And there was something poetic about how he did it. Not with a perfect scoring night, but with sheer, ugly, stubborn will.
Just the straight, like, voice in your head saying you're not, you know, that voice in your head saying you can't let yourself lose no matter what. Like, you have to do everything. Like, your shot's not falling, then go dive on the floor and get them loose balls. You know what I mean? Go dive, go get that rebound, go save that ball from going out of bounds, go get that block. Like, it's just that sheer will to do whatever you fucking can and make sure your team wins.
On the one night his greatest gift abandoned him, the thing that carried him was the exact quality Bird had spotted all those years earlier. The refusal to lose, no matter the cost.
Facts.
Talent got Kobe to the finals. That will is what won it when talent wasn't enough. Bird's prediction was complete. He had seen this ruthlessness in a teenager, and now that teenager had 5 championships and a mentality the entire league feared.
Facts.
Somewhere along the way, Kobe had even given that mentality.
Dude, he literally took all of Michael Jordan's moves and perfected them so much, and then his handles and his 3-point shot and everything was better than Michael Jordan's. Michael Jordan could jump and do way crazy things that Kobe Bryant couldn't do, but there was things that Michael Jordan did that Kobe Bryant just perfected to a whole nother level.
Entire league feared. Somewhere along the way, Kobe had even given that mentality a name. The Black Mamba. But greatness...
that's not... He didn't give the mentality the Black Mamba name. The Black Mamba was his nickname. He gave the mentality the Mamba mentality.
Obsessive always comes with a bill, and eventually that bill comes due.
Father Time always catches up eventually.
The same relentless drive that made Kobe unstoppable also meant he never stopped. He played through injuries other men would have sat out for months, pushing his body past every reasonable limit. Night after night, year after...
Yeah, because I seen him talk about it in an interview. He said, he said he hated sitting out games because no matter what, there was always going to be a kid in that crowd that came there that had never seen him play. And he wanted to make sure, like, you know what I mean? He never sat out, which is, I'm sure that's not the only reason, but like part of that was like, even if he was hurt, he wanted to make sure he played because there was a kid in that crowd that was there probably to see him play that had never seen him play. You know what I mean?
After year.
My back was jacked. Your back can bother you any other day. That shit ain't bothering me today. He gonna have to see me today.
In 2013, it finally broke. Late in a crucial game, chasing a playoff spot the way only he would, Kobe tore his Achilles tendon. One of the most
like one of the toughest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life got up and walked back out on the court to the free throw line and shot his fucking free throws and then walked off the court.
He
didn't get carried off the court.
Injuries an athlete can suffer. For most players, that's the moment they crumble to the floor and wait to be carried off. Kobe did something almost impossible to believe. He stood up, limped to the free throw line, and with a torn Achilles, calmly knocked down both free throws before walking off the court under his own power.
When the game is more important than the injury itself, you don't feel that damn injury. Hamstring be damned. You're not going to feel your hamstring.
It was the Mamba mentality in its purest, most painful form.
Yeah.
When his body could no longer keep the promises his mind...
Like when I broke my elbow and shit, like I laughed. I didn't even think it was broke at first. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was hurt, but like I didn't think it was broke. You know what I mean? Like I've broke a lot of shit and tore a lot of shit. I've had knee surgeries, all types of stuff. Sometimes you instantly know and sometimes you don't. But like when that adrenaline's going on and everything, you can really do a lot with your body, especially if you don't let that pain get to you. Some people, like you said, will just lay there and wait for it to get carried off. But some people are just built different, dude. And pain doesn't bother them, and that's clearly Kobe Bryant. Pain clearly did not bother Kobe all that much.
Kept making.
The man won a championship with a broken finger.
He fought back from the Achilles tear, only for new injuries to knock him down again and again. A knee, a shoulder, the kind of setbacks that would have ended most careers years earlier. And here was the cruel irony. The same refusal to quit that built his legend was now the thing dragging out his ending. He kept coming back because stopping was never a word in his vocabulary, even when his body was clearly begging him to.
Yeah.
The player who once bent games to his will was now fighting just to stay on the floor. And the Lakers around him had sunk into one of the worst.
Yeah, he had a terrible team around him at this point in time in his career, too. There was no way a 34-year-old Kobe was carrying this team anywhere. Maybe if he had an all-star roster around him, he could have done, but a 35-year-old Kobe was not carrying this team, Jeremy Lin and that team anywhere. He wasn't carrying them anywhere. I'm just young Julius Randle telling Julius Randle that go fix your broke ass jump shot, telling Jeremy Lin and Nick and them that they're soft as Charmin. Like, he wasn't carrying this team anywhere.
First stretches in franchise history.
Called me and said, listen, we are so sorry for what happened to this team. We're sorry that we don't have a team around you that can contend for a championship.
The end was coming, and everyone could feel it. But was Kobe really going to fade out quietly? Of course not.
Hell no.
On April 13th, 2016, in the final game of his 20-year career, a 37-year-old Kobe Bryant, battered and worn down, gave the world one last impossible night. He scored 60 points, willing his team to a comeback win, and taking his final bow exactly the way he had lived his entire career.
Playing defense still. Last game of his career, and that man's is still out there playing defense, trying to win at all costs. There wasn't no like, oh, I can just lose this game and just go out here and have fun. You know what I mean? It's my last. Nah, he wanted to win at all costs, no matter what.
On his own terms, with the ball in his hands, refusing to let the moment be anything less than legendary.
Rest at the end, not in the middle. And that's something I always live by.
It was the perfect ending, or at least it should have been. Then on January 26, 2020,
rest in peace, Mamba.
The basketball world was struck by a tragedy that words still struggle to hold. Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash.
If y'all really want to get into the conspiracy theories about Kobe Bryant, look at the toy that they gave out on Kobe Bryant's last game. How it was a Kobe Bryant's body with a helicopter and shit. And then there was like a movie / cartoon something that came out where Kobe died in a helicopter crash. And then he died in 2020 in a helicopter crash. So, and a lot of people say he was assassinated. So I don't know much about it. I just know what I've seen. You know what I mean?
Alongside his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and 7 others. He was 41 years old.
Rest in peace.
The loss
man.
reached far beyond basketball. It touched people who had never watched a single game because Kobe had become something bigger than sport. He was a symbol of what discipline, sacrifice, and an unbreakable will could build.
That is possible, you know, to give every ounce of yourself and literally exhaust yourself to be great at what you want to do.
In the aftermath, tributes poured in from every corner of the world.
His Dear Basketball and shit too. I don't know if you've ever seen his little short film and his book and shit that he wrote, Dear Basketball. It's pretty cool.
Players who studied him, from fans who grew up on him, and from legends who competed against him, including the one man who had seen it all coming, Larry Bird. When Bird watched that teenager, years before a single NBA minute, he wasn't handing out a compliment. He was telling the league something it didn't want to hear. That
y'all better watch out. That's what Larry Bird was saying. All the way back in 1996, Larry Bird was saying, this is the greatest player I've seen since Michael Jordan, and he's 17 years old. And he was right.
Kid carried the one thing you cannot coach and cannot teach, the same refusal to lose that had made Bird and Jordan 2 of the most feared competitors who ever lived. And he was right about all of it.
Facts.
The 5 rings, the ruthlessness, the willingness to sacrifice comfort, friendships, even his own body, in pursuit of being the best. Bird saw the blueprint. Kobe became the building. And for the next 2 decades...
This is what gets me so mad when they try to compare SGA to Kobe Bryant. I'm like, literally just because he does a few moves that literally look a little bit like Kobe Bryant moves. I'm like, you cannot compare these two ball players to the same. Like, they are not the same at all. Like, Kobe would have never been out there doing some of this shit. Kobe wanted to win at all costs, and he was not out there doing that shit that Shea's out there doing. They didn't have the same mindset. Shea does not have the same mindset that Kobe did, and that's why that shit pisses me off so much when people try to compare them to each other.
He reshaped the entire
You
sport
can't even put them in the same conversation.
in his own image. By the way, let me know what you think below. Does Kobe Bryant belong in the top 5 players of all time?
Hell yeah.
Whether you say yes or no, drop your reasoning in the comments. I genuinely want to hear.
If you don't think Kobe Bryant belongs in the top 5 of all time, then you honestly are extremely biased. Because Kobe Bryant's my favorite player, and even I could look back unbiasedly enough and say he's still not the best of all time. Michael Jordan's still my GOAT, you know what I mean? But Kobe Bryant is still the second best player I think that I've ever seen pick up a basketball. And if you don't have him in your top 5, then you are out your mind. But man, let me know what y'all think about this below, man. Make sure y'all drop a like, comment, and subscribe. It's still live checking out. Peace out, y'all.